welcome to my Yumi 3 video for November of 2021. I have not opened this yet because I wanted it to be a surprise. I think this one came from Tiffany, just judging by the washi tape that's on there. I've got my instructions here. Yeah, I'm going to reveal this. So let's see what we've got. It's a pretty little envelope here. And what have we got in it? It looks like there's a piece of mica. It's interesting. A little ticket stubby type thing. And then, what is this? It looks like some kind of score pad from the First National Bank of Mobile. So yeah, this is probably from Tiffany since it does have Mobile on it. But I think this is like, I don't know, for playing cards, like bridge or something like that. And now I have to figure out, I've never worked with big sheets of mica like this before. So I'm going to think on this for a minute. I think that's what this is, just based on the... I'm trying to see if I can, if there's, yeah, oh, there's another layer here I can maybe peel off. Ooh. I got almost a full sheet off. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Can you see it there? So this is the original one. It probably still has a few more layers to it, and this is the sheet I pulled off. So I may just use like one of these layers. I don't know. Alright, and I know I want to do something fairly quick. I don't have much time today, and I want to have this up and ready for y'all. So let me think on what I can do. Alright, so I think I'm just going to do a fairly quick journal page. I'm using this little junk journal I made. It is one of my, I think one of my first Yumi 3s I did. I'll try to put a link there to it. But for now, let's just get started. Alright, so I am going to collage down both that score pad and the little ticket stub, just using my Oohoo glue stick, and just go ahead and work those two items straight into my page. Now, I just realized in that introduction, I didn't explain to y'all what the Yumi Same 3 is, so let me do that real quick. Basically, Tiffany and Michelle started a couple years ago exchanging 3 items, and you know, they would swap months and have to use the same item and work those 3 items into a project. Well, the beginning of this year, they decided to open that up to anybody else that wanted to play along by offering up packets of the 3 items for us to buy and participate with them. So, and I've done it several months. Like I said, I made this journal doing it, like I said, it's one of my very first months, and this is the second to last month. So this month and December are going to be the last 2 months of Yumi 3. And I'm really excited to have gotten to play along. I will have links below to Tiffany and Michelle's videos and anybody else that is playing along with us this month. And I hope you will go check them out and see what they did with their 3 items. So as you can see, I got my scorecard and my little ticket stub, and I even pulled up that washi tape that was on the envelope and used that too, because why the heck not? So I threw all that in, and I'm adding a couple other things. Now, the scorecard, the writing on it was a green. So what I'm sticking down there is a pale green piece of a ledger paper. So that gets some more of that green in there. And then I want more of the blue, like that little card. So I've got, that's a piece of, I don't know, a magazine. And then I've got this stamped, bleach stamped piece of paper that I'm going to stick in there to get all that. So I've got kind of a blue and green theme going on that I'm going to continue for most of this spread. Now, first, I really wanted to make what I had collaged down there, bring it all together. So I'm going to use some gesso to do that. I have got the, Deco Art Media gesso, and I'm using a palette knife. The first palette knife was plastic and was a little too floppy for that heavy gesso. So I grabbed a metal one And I'm just scraping that on there. My gesso has gotten super thick and kind of clunky, so I was having a hard time even spreading it. So I'm going to pull out a brayer here to just kind of make sure it's thin enough and spread all over the page. Yep. And it didn't move very much. It got all over my brayer, but it didn't. Maybe a little water would have worked, but that's fine. Now I'm going to continue that blue theme here by using this. It's an Artist Loft fluid acrylic. And Artist Loft is Michael's brand. And this is Phthalo Blue. I don't think Michael's carries this fluid acrylic anymore. You can go look, but I don't think you'll find it. I worked at Michael's for a couple years ago, and I don't remember seeing it. So I've had this stuff for a while, probably 4 or 5 years. So I decided to add this blue down, and I'm trying not to neglect the middle of the page. It's a bad habit of mine to work on the edges and not the middle. So I got that down, just some little, they're like little squares, just something to get that blue in there. And then I decided, all right, I'm going to dry this. I'm going to bring some green in. So I've got cracked pistachio, distress oxide, and a hand carved stamp. And I'm just, again, just like I did with those blue squares, I'm just adding some texture into this page. Those circles are actually going to, I don't know, have a little something extra than I thought they were going to. I thought they were just going to be texture, but I'm going to give them a little more detail as we move through this. So I took my chunky pencil and kind of went around those circles and then just did some scribbles on the page. And then I'm going to grab my instant coffee. So I keep this dried up instant coffee in this little yogurt cup. Then I just reconstitute it with a couple squirts of water. And bam, it's going to give me some instant texture is what it is. Not just instant coffee, instant texture. Okay, I'm a dork. Yes. Sorry. So I used kind of a big paintbrush for the first couple splatters I put down, but really I wanted these finer, small splatters, so I'm going to use a finer, smaller brush and get that on the page. And now I'm going to dry everything. I did sop it up a little bit with another piece of paper, but cut that out. Now I'm using this photo strip picture from Tim Holtz, and I'm tearing the edges a little just to give it a little more age to it. And then I'm going to grab that paintbrush again and use that instant coffee and go around the edges of her picture. Don't you love her? I love her with her like hat cocked to the side. She's got like this sly grin, and I love this lady, y'all. She is super cute. And that little mica sheet fits right over this picture. So I got my coffee on her. I'm going to dry her real quick and let that coffee dry because I was afraid if I did anything else, that coffee would slip right off. Now I thought I'd try taking some StazOn ink and that mica sheet and that same hand carved stamp and stamping on it. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you that mica sheet is super slick and the StazOn did not stay on, which surprised me a lot. So I'm wondering if roughing up that mica sheet or putting some clear gesso down would have worked better, but for my purposes, you see, I'm going to leave it there for a little bit, pull out a couple things, give it time to dry, but it'll wipe right off here in a minute. So see there, I moved it. Yep, and it wipes right off. So if you know any tricks to get the StazOn to stay on a mica sheet, let me know. But I pulled out this coffee dyed piece of lace tablecloth and I'm going to cut it down a little bit because I really just want some of the super lacier parts of it to be in the background because I like all the holes that are in there. It lets some of that texture I've put in the background poke through, but still adds that yummy texture. Now I'm going to end up painting quite a bit of this page with more of that coffee. So I'm starting here, getting some along the top and the bottom. And here I'm working through the middle, going kind of around my stamps there. But in a little bit, I'm really not going to like how I just ended that paint there on that right side. Just in the middle, it feels like a cutoff. So I'll go back in a little bit and paint some more there. But for now, I have taken my mica sheet and put it on top of my photo booth picture. And I've got some hot pink embroidery floss. And I am just going to sew 3 little X's right on there. And that's basically going to attach my mica sheet to my photo. What I really, really like about this is as the needle punctures the mica sheet, it kind of cracks it and it gives these like sparkles right around it. I don't know. And it makes this horrible sound like the whole thing was going to crack, but it didn't. And I don't know. I really like this. And I kind of knew when I pulled out that mica sheet that I was going to layer it on top of something. This probably isn't the most effective way to use that mica sheet, but it was what I came up with that third item. And since I do have a little bit more of it, since I just used one of the layers, I can play with this some more. What would you have done with the mica sheet? I'd love to know because, like I said, this is what I came up with. All right, so I have my little layer here. And since I put that hot pink on the and I used the pink because I wanted something that would stand out that wasn't just the blue and the green, but then I decided nothing else is pink on this page. I need more pink on this page. So I grabbed some peony pink from, what is it? It's the Americana brand of craft paint in peony pink. And I'm making little X's on the page, just like the X's I have made on my mica sheet. So I'm just doing these tiny little X's in this tiny little brush. Again, just to kind of have that echo throughout the page. And I've got a tin, a little international coffee tin full of little phrases and words I've cut out and immediately found the phrase, I love it. And so I'm going to grab my matte gel medium and a palette knife and put the medium on the page, the lace on top of that. Then basically I'm just creating my stack here. Now the matte gel medium, like the Stays On, did not want to stay on the mica sheet. That little piece of paper there that I love it slipped and slid all over the place. I had to leave that alone for quite a bit to make sure that it didn't just slide right off of that mica sheet. Now all that stuff was kind of trying to bow and distort, so I am going to weigh it down with my matte gel medium and my paint. But first I'm going to do some more coffee painting. Yep, like I said, I'm going to end up painting so much of this page with coffee, it's not even funny. So you see that the words just sliding around? Ugh, I was having a time with them. So there, I'm going to weigh that down and leave it for a minute and then come back. And like I said, I wanted to, paint that. So I'm kind of going around those stamp circles, and I keep saying and I wanted, I don't know what I wanted. I didn't want that coffee stain to feel so abruptly ended there. I wanted it to be part of the page. So I extended it. Now, I didn't feel like my focal was really popping off the page. So I'm going to pull in some Stabilo to add a little bit more dark to it, thinking that would help, but it really ends up being still too light. So I'm going to add some white. So I'm going to paint on I'm going to draw on the Stabilo, activate it, and then I'm going to grab that gesso again and try to add it. But everything is so wet there that even the gesso gets a little muddied there on top of the coffee and the Stabilo and all of that. So I'll have to dry it and then do it again. And then I'm going to take the gesso and go around the inside of all my little stamps to kind of echo that same double circle thing that's going on there at the focal. So here's where I'm adding more of the gesso, and I don't know why I grabbed that paintbrush. I was just grabbing for something, and it is not the best paintbrush. But I'm going to go around the inside of these other stamp circles to kind of echo that same motion, I guess, that same shape. And then use the Stabilo around on them as well. And then finally, this page that was supposed to be just a quick little thing will be finished. All right, guys, I really do hope you enjoyed this. I appreciate you coming by and watching. And make sure you go check out the other participants along with Michelle and Tiffany of the You Me Same 3 for November. And I'm going to wish you all the best for a happy holiday season. All right. Thanks for watching. Bye.